Hi Happy Crafters, how are you all? Welcome to my live studio here at Stamps by Me. Thank you for taking the time to join me. It is much appreciated. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Toni. I am a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, the biggest craft channel. And I love to do anything that entails using stamps, pens, paints, anything that gives you the appearance of looking like a professional artist when really it's the equipment we use to make something look amazing. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube from wherever you are, could you let me know where you're watching from, because it's always good to know where you're all from. And could you also give me the thumbs up and share so all your friends, crafty friends, get to see maybe some new techniques they've not seen before, or maybe just a little bit of inspiration needed to get them to pick up some things and make some amazing cards. Before I go ahead, I just need to say a couple of thank yous as always. Thank you for tuning into my last show and purchasing the amazing Colour Essence palette. If you managed to get your hands on it, well done. I will be using that in today's demonstration. And again, thank you for buying the wonderful members gift that's over on Create and Craft. It's just been amazing. The reviews have been amazing and I can't thank you enough. And business permitting, there might be some more coming, so thank you. So today's demonstrations are going to show you how to get the most out of some of our earlier silhouette stamps. So we launched our silhouette stamps earlier this year and we've not had them back out since then, so I wanted you maybe to get them back out of the packet if you have bought them and not used them maybe, or get them out of the packet and let's use them in a different way. Before I go ahead though, everything that I'm using today is available on our website, but please don't think that to watch this video or enjoy this video you have to purchase our products. I'm absolutely certain that if you go through your stash at home, you'll have something that will probably work with the techniques that I'm going to show you today. So, you know, you're not going to be left out. Have a look around. There will be something in your stash, I'm certain of it, to help you make the cards that I'm going to make today. So if you do watch and you watch till the end, when I post the makes on our Facebook page, anybody who comments about which card they liked the most or if they enjoyed the live studio, I pick a random winner and the cards I make in live studio get posted out to you. So I know a few lovely ladies have already received the makes from numerous live studios before, so if you pop a comment, like and share anything you like, then I will pick a random winner and get them posted out to you. It's always lovely to have something in your hand rather than just watch it on a screen. So let's crack on then. So the things I'm going to be using today in today's demonstration is the wonderful palette that was on Create and Craft yesterday. Excuse me, I'm going to be using this today, and we are also going to be using some of our earlier silhouette stamps. Now these are the stamps that I have to hand, and the stamps that we need for this technique that I'm going to show you are the solid ones. So I'll just take this out of the packet for you. So just get some card. So as you can see, it's the ones where they're solid because we're going to do some painting techniques with them. So studio a couple of weeks ago we did some black magic embossing, black magic stamping. Well, for these ones we're going to do some black magic painting, so it's something a little bit different. So these are the solid ones. So this is one of the sets that you can achieve this look with. We also have this one as well. So these again are these silhouette ones. Can you see those there? You get some lovely sentiments in there as well. Beautiful creepers and some lovely foliage. And then we're going to be using this little A6 one as well, and it's got some solid portion across the bottom as well and some beautiful sentiments. So I'm just going to pop these to one side and let's get straight into some demonstration. I know that's why you all tune in. I hope you've got a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee, so just sit back and hopefully you will enjoy what I'm going to do. So for my first technique, I'm going to show you how to create a little bit of a realistic watercolour card with the silhouette stamps. So I've just got some cardstock here. This is watercolour card, and we're going to make something look like it's been hand painted. So it's not going to be a sterile stamp, it's going to look like it has been painted. So I'm just going to go back to these two stamps, just move these out of the way. So I'm going to use this one and I'm going to use this one, and I'm just going to pick from the bunch. Just move it out of the way. pick from the bunch which is going to suit this card. So first of all, what I want to do for this card is I want to create some perspective. So I want something to be in the background, and then I want something to be in the foreground. So in the background, I'm going to pick some foliage. So we'll go with these ones on here. So these are like creepers. So we'll just get these ones. So it's good to have a little selection so you can pick and choose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a card that's got like a watercolour foliage group here, which is going to be like blowing in the wind. So I'm just going to place it face down here, just get rid of that horrible piece of fluff. Like so. So I want them to be at different heights and different levels. So I'm going to put this one up here like so, and I'm going to pop this one down here. So within the group as well, we have got other ones as well. So we've got these really tall ones here. So let's go ahead and use some of those as well. I'm going to peel a few of them off actually. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to pop them so they look like they're blowing in the wind. It will all come to light what I'm trying to do in a second. Let's put that one down a little bit. Right, so before we go ahead and we go into the foliage element of it, we need to create a bit of a backdrop. So what I'm going to do is I've just got a flat-headed paintbrush here, and I'm just going to do some line of water, clean clear water, where the stamps are going to fall. So I'm just going to pop some clean clear water onto this watercolour card in the area where those stamps are going to fall. So when it's all covered in water, like so, just get our lovely watercolour pad out. So give that chance to settle on the cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a lovely green from here. So I'm going to go with this one on the lowest layer here. I'm just going to pick, I know this is a big brush, but it will still work. I'm just going to pick up some of that lovely green in the backdrop, and I'm just going to drop it into the water part of where I've just put that clean clear water. And I'm just going to drop it in, nothing fancy. I'm just going to drop it into the water and just let it work its magic. Remember, watercolour always dries back lighter than when you first put it on. I'm just going to get some more clean clear water and dilute that down a little bit. Like so. So this is going to give me a backdrop for when I come to do the lovely stamping. So just take, so I've got this harsh line here. Excuse the red mark, that was what was already on my brush. I'm just going to drop some clean clear water in there so it just doesn't look like a sterile line. There we go. So I'm just going to get my heat gun and I'm just going to blast that one off. And soon don't want it to be completely dry, but it just needs to be dry enough so when I add some more water it doesn't lift it out, so that's okay. So if you don't want to create the backdrop on your card, you can totally skip this element of it. So I have my stamps here already, and I'm going to paint direct onto the stamp. And I'm going to get a smaller brush for this one. I'm just going to get a round size 4 brush for this one. But before I do that, now that's dry and the colour's in, I'm just going to pop a layer of water on there. Because when I come to stamp these images, these are going to be in the background, and I do not want them to be sterile, if that makes any sense. So when I say sterile, I mean clean lines. I want them to bleed into the water. So I'm going to put that on there like so. Then I'm going to get my paintbrush, and I'm going to pick up, just change, make sure my brush is clean, or else I'm going to end up with an awful muddy mess. So clean clear water, and let's go for this mustardy colour here. So it looks like fawn in the wind, and then I'm just going to paint it direct to the stamp, and I'm going to paint it to all of them. So nothing neat, nothing, you know, nothing too difficult. Bit of water on there. This is such a fun technique, but really does give you the appearance or the illusion of something you've actually sat down and painted. So all of the stamps that I've done there. And then when you've got some coverage on there, just move your pad out of the way. What will happen is you'll put the foliage onto the backdrop of the water you've just put on there, and it will put something in the background. Can you see that there? So you just need to let the water do the work there for you. And then we need to get our palette back in, and maybe same position, nothing detailed. Maybe go in with a different coloured green. So let's go in with the limey greeny one here, which is on your palette. So maybe drop a bit of green in some areas, which mixed with the colour that is already on there, you get this beautiful lime greeny colour. Just get rid of that piece of mess on there. So I'm not covering the whole of the stamp because I want some of it to remain like this here, because it does, I want it to look like it's blowing in the wind. Now just move it again and we'll go again. Can you see there how it's all like bleeding into the background? This is what we want to happen. We want to create foreground, perspective, foreground and background. This is going to be our background, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean those stamps off, and I'm going to reposition them into a different area on my card. So I'm just getting rid of the excess paint on there. And then we'll move them around slightly. So let's go upright maybe on this one. So the card is still wet, which is nice. So I'm just going to pick up the things again. And this time we're going to go for the green again. So this green that's in the background, we're going to go for that because I want to push it more and more into the background. So I'll bring my palette in again. I'm just going to pick up some of the lovely green, and I'm going to paint it direct on. Maybe add a little bit of brown to the stems, just so it does look like foliage in the background. You know, it's down to your own creativity, the colour and the things you want to do. So we will add a bit of brown in there so you can see the contrast. Remember always to clean your brush off between colours so you don't get the contamination. And then stamp this one out. You see that it's all coming together now. That is still a little bit wet. What I'm going to do with my brush is I'm just going to take it down so it looks like it's connecting and it's not floating. You see that there? I'm just going to blast that off with my gun. Then what we need to do, that's the background, so now what we need to do is we need to create the foreground. So I'll just dry these off and just put these onto the side here for now. So if you have any silhouette flowery stamps, I'm going to go on to those ones now. So you can see from the set you can hold them. So we'll go with this one first. And what we're going to do is we're going to completely brighten this picture now. Maybe make it look like a buttercup field or a poppy field. So we'll go down here first. And then what we're going to do, what we're going to do is we are going to paint it direct to stamp again. So let's get some colour onto this picture now. So I'm going to pick this lovely red here. I'm going to paint the heads of these flowers. But what I'm going to do on this occasion with the coloured one, I'm going to spritz it with some water and bring it to life in that sense. So I've done the heads of the poppies, which are going to be red. So let's do the base of the stems. You don't want this to be as watered down, you see, as the other bit of your image, this part, because that is the background. We need to make this pop from the page, the foreground. So I'll just move this out of the way. Spray with a bit of water. And the great thing about having the Eureka is once you do it once, if it doesn't stamp or you want to add more colour or more detail, you've got the facility to do it again and make it darker, haven't you? But because, you know, I like to play, I don't just stick to stamps, I'm just going to pick up some of this red myself and I'm just going to add a little bit more red in there, make it a little bit darker. Make them pop from the page a little bit more. Like so. So it's popped it from the page there. And the green stems on there are perfect, so I'm not going to mess any more with that because you can overwork. I do it myself, I do it all the time. So I'm just going to clean this stamp, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it so we've got it creep some of the flower heads creeping from this side as well. So same concept again, let's do it again. So I'm just going to pick up some of the red. I'm just going to paint it onto the flower heads. And then the same, clean your brush, make sure you get rid of the red. You'll end up with a muddy mess. Let's get some, picked up some red there by mistake. Pick up some of the green. And stamp it out, and if you pop it down and it doesn't bleed enough for you, you can either go in again with your paintbrush or reposition and stamp again. Can we see there? We're already getting like foreground and background. Can you see that there? So let's swap this stamp out then for another one. So also within the collections as well, you get some tall sprigs as well. So to fill some of the gaps, I'm just going to pop it on. Let's put it on an angle because we did say we wanted it to look like it was blowing in the wind. And I'm going to do this in a real light, like the mustardy colour again. But it's going to be quite diluted. So this is just a fun card that you can pick up at home and do. Can you see there how that's instantly filled that gap there? This is what we're trying to achieve here. And then let's maybe pop another one across here. See here, so we've got these lovely pieces of foliage coming in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the palette now myself. I'm going to get some clear water. I'm just going to pick up some of the green and I'm just going to put some grass stripes up here to get rid of these gaps. Close the gaps in. I don't want to overwork the stamped area because I think it might spoil it. Maybe a little bit of brown if you're daring enough. Remember what I said about things drying back way lighter. So I'll just dry that one off. And then I'm just going to get my smaller detailed brush and I am just going to add a little bit of definition to the poppies. So that's with the black. So pick up a little bit of the black. I'm just going to drop a little bit of black in there to accent it. Then my acrylic block, just to finish, get a bit of a thicker brush, pick some of the mustard up. And flick it onto your artwork. Could do with a little bit more, maybe some black on there as well. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of card. You know, I know we work hard at these things, but you never know unless you try. So I'm going to blast that one off. Remember to make sure it's entirely, completely dry, otherwise you will end up with an awful mess that you absolutely hate. So if you were giving this to somebody, would they know you haven't painted it? Would they know you've used a stamp? I'd be asking the question, have you painted that? So from one of the lovely sentiments, I'm just going to stamp it on and we'll get this mounted on a card and you'll soon see how it comes to life. And it's not until really you put the sentiment on or you mount it, I always find that they don't come to life until you've put your sentiment on or mounted it. So let's do this one and let's get this card brought to life. I'm going to use black for this one to make it pop from the page. And because I am using a watercolour card, I might have to do it twice because it's texturised, but we will see. I'll go for it one more time just to make it pop. May your life be like a wildflower growing freely in the beauty and joy of each day. I'm just going to blast this off again because I know I'm like for fingerprints. So we'll just tidy up a little bit. Let's get my... So here I have a craft coloured top folding note card. Just going to move that sentiment out of the way. And I'm just going to use a tape pen to tape it down because I want to do it for speed, but secondly I also think if you are using watercolour cardstock as well, you should always use tape and glue. Because what happens is tape dries out. Now I'm just going to get a new one. Thank you. So I want, because obviously I am sending this out to a lovely viewer, I would hate for it to drop apart even before you get your hands on it. So I am putting plenty of tape on there. And I am going to pop some glue on there as well. Just so I know it's not going to drop to bits. So just make sure that's super stick down. There we have. Beautiful. Excuse the little red mark there, but other than that you would never know that that is not a hand painted card. It's absolutely gorgeous. You know, give these things a try. You know, add water, don't add water, stamp, unstamp. You know, these things are there to be played with, there to enjoy, so you know, just have fun doing it yourself. Okay, so let's move on to our second demonstration. I hope you enjoyed that one. I'm just going to pop this under something heavy so it sticks. I'll just pop it under my snap plates so it sticks flat. Just put lots of things on top of it to weigh it down. So next demonstration then. So going from what we've just learnt from that one with using some paints and water and things like that, I'm just going to show you another little technique that I love to do, and it's always a go-to that I always do when I'm feeling a little bit stale or a bit unsure of what I want to do to create something. And it's a lovely technique. A lot of you may have already done this technique, but this is for people who maybe are new to crafting, maybe want to learn something different to what they've already seen. You know, it's just something a little bit different. I thoroughly enjoy it and I do it all the time. So what I'm going to do is I have here watercolour pens. I love anything water based. So I've got 4 watercolour pens here, and I'm just going to clean this acrylic block off here so it's nice and clean. And we're going to create a focal point on a card, again using the lovely silhouette stamps. So I have a piece of white cardstock. I'm just going to pop this inside the Eureka. Just hold it in place. Now this is media card, it's super smooth, it's perfect for stamping, watercolouring and things like that. So, and I have an acrylic block which is going to create a little bit of an aperture in the centre of my card here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4 pens and we will do a gradient down here. So we'll go with the green. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to swish some lines across the top like so. Nothing fancy. Get a bit of colour on there. And then we'll swap it out for a blue, an aqua blue colour. Then we'll go for a nice purple. And then we'll go for a pink. What we're going to do then is we're going to create a beautiful window to house the silhouette stamp. So I'm just going to take the block and I'm going to spray it a couple of times. So I'm going to spray it 1, 2, 3, 5 times. And then we're going to pick my window. And when I pop my card down, you will see it all sort of press down. It sort of like gives you this beautiful. So the card that I used on the last one was watercolour card, matte and lead onto some craft top folding note card, and then this one is media card, which is great for watercolouring, stamping, colouring. So I'm just going to leave that to sit a second while the colour just works its magic across the page. I can see the colour moving as I'm talking to you now. So I'm just going to give it a second to work its magic, because this is going to be like, again, when I said to you earlier about foreground and background, this is going to be in the background and the stamp is going to bring it into the foreground, which is amazing. So when I pull it off like so, you get this beautiful like scene, if you want to call it. You could draw some trees in there, you could make it a Christmas scene, put some snow on there, there's lots of things you could do with that one. So I'm just going to blast this off. Now just make sure when you do this technique it is water-based pens that you use. So the pens that I use are Tombow pens, but you can use your Tim Holtz distress pens, they work. There will be varying water-based pens on the market, but those are the two that are probably the most common, and probably most of you will be able to relate to. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to use the beautiful long silhouette foliage set here. And what we're going to do is we are going to stamp this solid in black straight across the bottom, so it's going to go half in my image and half out. So these are quick and easy cards, so if you're batch stamping, these look amazing. You could, if you wanted to do a big tall creeper, just one, half in and half out, but I just want you to see, this stamp is a big one, so I just want you to see how grand it looks should you do it all in black. That looks amazing. So I'm just going to do it again. I think my ink pad might be drying out a little, but because we've got the Eureka, it's okay. I can keep going until I'm happy with the depth of colour. So I'm just going to do it again without sticking all my stamps to the door. And I'm going to do it one more time. Make sure I've got lots of light tapping onto the stamp, even coverage, and this time is the last time. 3 is enough for anybody, I think. There we have. How nice is that one? So let's get the sentiment put on. So I'll pop that back on the page. And for this one, we'll go for quite a bold one. And we'll just pop it here under the centre. Make sure it's straight. That isn't straight. And again, I'm going to do this one in black. So these are great masculine cards again. You know, a bit of colour on there. Maybe browns, chocolate browns and things like that would look lovely. Mustardy colours. It's a beautiful day for a birthday. So I'm just going to blast this one off. Move this out of the way. So let's get this onto a card, and what we'll do, just turn it over, make sure I've got the right tape pen. This one's going nowhere. So I haven't got anything fancy around this one because I wanted the picture to speak for itself. I didn't want it to get outshined by some glitter or anything like that. But the only thing I did want to do with this one was I have some sequins here. And I'm just going to pop some glue. Them up just for that little bit of added sparkle. Now you could make this as sparkly as you wanted, but I will just leave it with the 3. So I'll just grab the other one. So 2 beautiful cards. 2 completely different techniques, but very minimalistic, very hand painted, should we say. It's entirely up to you. So I will pop these onto my Facebook page. Don't forget to comment, like, share which card you've liked the best. If you've picked up a technique, if you have, are you going to try it yourself at home? Whatever you're doing this evening, be safe, be cosy, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will catch you all again next Wednesday for some more tutorials. Have a great evening everyone, take care, bye.